Hi, I'm Sam. I'm an artist, graphic designer and illustrator from Leicester, England. I like travelling, creating, cooking, going to the game, jumping in the water and stuffing my face. In early 2023, I decided to put all my stuff into storage, sell my car and go travelling, embracing life as a digital nomad, flying around the world and working remotely in other countries. So far, it's been a blast. I've been making memories, exploring different cultures and embracing different ways of life. I've made a bunch of new friends, had a bunch of visitors from back home come out to stay with me, tried local cuisines, fell into tourist traps and had way too much sunshine. Some of my favourite days since I've been away are the days where I put the iPad in a bag, gone for a wander until I found somewhere to post up, enjoying the scenery and drawing something. So I want to bring you with me as I document my journey and try to adjust to life on the move, finding inspiration and living my dream of working and travelling, drawing and exploring. What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Drawing and Exploring with me, Sam Grubb. I'm in Pristina, which is the capital of Kosovo. So I travelled north from Tirana in Albania and I got a coach. It was due to be about a 4-hour trip. It was about 5.5. The driver just kept stopping, chilling, doing his thing. And there was just me and another couple on the coach. It was small, but it was fine. We got there, no problems. And then I got fleeced. Stupidly jumped in a yellow taxi from the bus station. I just needed to get to the apartment. The guy said 20 euros. I was like, wow, you're joking. Turns out it was like a 5-minute trip, but yeah, I got fleeced there. It was cheaper to get from Tirana to Kosovo, to Pristina, than it was to get from the bus station to my apartment. But there you go, you win some, you lose some. But yeah, it's a beautiful day. Pristina, the capital, super small city. It's 11,000 kilometers squared, and there's 200,000 people live here in the city and in the surrounding areas. Kosovo's only been a country since 2008. I'll get into the history a little bit more later, but a product of the war with Yugoslavia and the war with Serbia that continued, and in 2008 become a country, although it's not recognized by the UN, and a lot of countries don't recognize it as a country. But it's a beautiful little quaint place. I arrived sort of late yesterday. Went down the strip, had a little look what was going on, got some food, just got my bearings, but it's really small. It feels like it's going to be super easy to get around. Initially, I was thinking about coming to Pristina for 3 months, and people were telling me, it's way too long. So yeah, just flying through. I've got a long weekend here before I go on again. And there's a few things I want to see whilst I'm in the city. I've got a bit of work to do, so I'll talk about that later. So it should be a fun day. It's about 30 degrees right now. Which is a nice break. I'm way further north than Tirana, the capital of Albania, that was sat in a bowl. So that was a super hot month when I was down there. But yeah, it feels a bit cool. I enjoy walking around, having a look what the city's got to offer. Right now, I'm on my way to a big cathedral. I read yesterday that you can go to the top of the tower for €1. So I'm going to buy a bottle of water. I'm going to get up the top of the tower, have a look around the city. And then there's a couple of landmarks I want to get to after that. But yeah, here's the cathedral. So I'm going to get up that tower now. If I can, hopefully. I can't see anyone up there. Let's see. So I'm here at the second thing that I wanted to see in Pristina, the Bill Clinton statue. So this one, obviously, some history around it. I've been doing my reading, but I've got to go back a little bit in time to explain this one. So if you remember the first episode I shot when I got to Tirana in Albania, I went to Skanderbeg Square and I was reading about Gjergj Kastrioti Skanderbeg, who was a 15th century warrior, feudal lord who fought against the Ottoman Empire and was present when the first Albanian flag was put in the ground. I heard something super cool about him, tangent, but someone told me that his play was, he basically went to the Ottoman Empire, pretended to be an ally, saying that he'd come from the Sultan and he had a message from the Sultan. Apparently they invited him in for food, drinks, and in the middle of the night, his army killed the Ottomans. But then what happened was the Ottoman Empire continued to rule after he died for a few more hundred years, up until, I think it was 1912 when Albania was finally liberated. And once Albania was liberated, Kosovo had a slightly different story. So what happened with them was they obviously got wrapped up in the Yugoslavian war and the war with the Serbians. And that raged on for a while until 2008, when they were finally given independence and recognized as a country. By the first country to recognize them as a country was the United States. So when you come to Kosovo, especially Pristina, you're going to see American flags in the ground. You're going to see stuff like Bill Clinton statues and big monuments to him. They got love for this guy because during his presidency, he was the guy who said, yeah, let's recognize them, let's support them, let's stop the Serbs, stop the war, and we're going to support Kosovo into independence. So that's the Bill Clinton statue. As you can see, I'm absolutely beading out. It's red hot. I've got a couple more things just to tick off before I go and see where I'm going to get sat down and do some drawing. But yeah, that's the reason why there's a Bill Clinton statue in Pristina. Okay, so I made my way to the National Library. It's a crazy, weird building. When I was first looking at Airbnbs in Pristina, I kept seeing a picture of it coming up and I wasn't sure what it was. But yeah, it was built in 1914. So like I said, the National Library, and it's covered in these weird kind of this metal cladding. It's a really bizarre building. On top of the building, there's 99 of these white domes. And it's just, like I said, you could see it from when I was at the top of the church tower. It kind of sticks out. Really bizarre building. But yeah, it was once voted the world's ugliest building as well, which made me laugh. It's kind of run into disrepair, even though it's open and you can go in. Around it, there's a whole bunch of graffiti that's not been cleaned off. There's a lot of graffiti here. That was one of the things I was going to mention. A lot more than I saw anywhere else in Albania. Straight away, it looks like there's a culture. There's some good writers here, there's tags, but then there's also obviously a lot of bad graffiti. But yeah, the National Library. And then another thing that's really interesting that's right by this is one of many abandoned Serbian churches. So like I said, I think it was 2008 when Kosovo was recognised as its own country. The Serbs left off. There's a bunch of churches that were left half built. And I was looking into it and there's a lot more Muslims. Look, here's the church. I'm going to bring the name of it up now because I'm not sure on it. But there's a lot more Muslims here, a lot more mosques. They reckon there's a mosque about every 200 meters. I heard the call to prayer last night. And although there's a Christian community, there's a bunch of kind of derelict churches that have just been left there. Also, I was hearing that because they take their Muslim culture came from the Ottoman Empire and the Turks, and naturally they're kind of a bit against those guys because of the history. I think they're not like the most pristine Muslim country. It looks very Western in terms of how people dress, act, eat, whatever. So it's really interesting. But yeah, apparently a whole bunch more mosques rather than churches. But there's the yeah, an abandoned church that's in the middle of this cool park. In terms of what I'm drawing today, let's get down to business. I need to go find somewhere to get in. Fun one again today. Got a bunch of client work on at the minute, so I'm working again for Jay from Mill Hill. Mill Hill, they brew coffee and they make craft beer, and they've been around for about 6 years. I think I've been working with them for about 3 years, and I've done a whole bunch of different can designs for them. Jay's like my favorite guy in the world. He's such an awesome client. He just writes the brief, gives me all the text, a bit of detail, and then lets me go do my thing. And with that, everything looks consistent and, you know, as if it's kind of part of the same brand. So I really love working on this stuff. And at the minute, he's commissioned 3 new designs. I've got one of them knocked down. I've got 2 left to do. So I'm going to tackle one of them today. It's the first in a Leicester Legends series, and it's an ode to Gary Lineker. So it's I know it's like some kind of margarita thing. It's got lime peel and lime in the beer. So I've got to work that into the design. Look at this, talking about graffiti. When do you ever see this? Nuts. But yeah, so I've got to work some lime into the design. I'm thinking maybe a little pattern on his tie or something. And I've got to make this Gary Lineker craft beer design. So that's the plan. Go find somewhere. I saw, when I was moseying on down earlier to the statue, I saw a few different places, some little coffee shops, places that had some sweet stuff that looked nice. So baking hot, I might try getting somewhere, find some AC or get sat under a big fan and get to drawing. What's that? Indomie bar, Central Pristina. Yeah, this bar was just across the road from my Airbnb, so it was pretty nice. I went back to the apartment just to drop a couple of bits off, and then yeah, I seen it. It was like there's AC, there's no one in there, there's big tables, there's chairs with high backs. It's perfect. So I started off by trying to trace over some of Gary Lineker's features. Obviously made his ears a little bit bigger and stuff like that. I was struggling. I realised like the hair at the top definitely shapes the face a lot, and when I was trying to make the hair a bit more fuzzy and furry and monstery, kind of wasn't working for me. I'm thinking he just ends up looking younger. He looks like an Oasis fan or something like that. It wasn't working, so I don't know. Here the TV's getting sketched. This is just a rough sketch underneath just to go back over. So here's the actual final rendering going in. I wanted it to be like one of those, even though I'm thinking this is maybe a little bit before Gary's era, I thought like a classic kind of sports broadcast, 3/4 on, studio inside the stadium, tan suit. I'm thinking like Des Lynam, USA 94 kind of vibe. I thought that kind of looks a little bit more sportscastery than just like the generic match of the day studio with a black shirt or something like that. So I thought, let's pop Gary in a tie. Here, a bit of copy and pasting going on, just to make sure the dials are consistent on the TV. I'm using Procreate, that's the software. So Procreate optimized for iPad. This is a 5th generation iPad Pro, 12.9 inch model. It still runs really quick. It's probably like the best thing I've ever bought. It's such a, I'm waiting for it to die on me every time I say this, but I'm loving it, it's great. I'm using a 2nd generation Apple Pencil. And yeah, stock brush. I think the brush is Freycinet, which is just one of the ones that comes with Procreate. I need to buy some more brushes and experiment a little bit. Same thing here, a bit of copy and pasting going on with the grill. Just trying to make sure that the line works consistent. Little trick, just flip them 180 upside down just to break it up a little bit so it doesn't look like the same ones copied and pasted. And then just move it down just a touch, just to centralize it. And that's most of the top line work done, aside from like the text and the you know, the little stickers that go over the top. But a lot of it's done, just trying to thicken up some of the lines here, make it a little bit more consistent, merge the line work together in the layers panel. And then I'm going to use that top line layer as reference just to fill in. So you can kind of start a new layer to colour on, but then you say, I want to fill inside the lines of the layer that's got the outline on. So that's what I'm doing here. I feel like whenever there's a little break like that, I'm eating something, I forget to cut it out of the edit. So you're going to have a little 5 seconds there where it's me doing something. Went for the purple with Gary.
filling in the crowd. I initially went for this purple. I don't know whether that was just to isolate it on the layer, but I remember thinking at the time I want to make it like a blue Leicester City crowd. I thought that probably makes the most sense. Little detail for the glasses, add some colour to them. Here the shadow layers just going in just to make it a little bit more 3D. Thinking about those four kind of the little bits around the edge of the TV. Here just using a stippling brush just to get the fans in the crowd. Thought that come up quite nice. Adding the little pitch markings, the wood grain texture on the TV, on the box. A little bit more detail around the advertising hoardings and stuff. Some details on the TV. And here just adding some white highlights for the metal panels, I guess. I think I'll draw these at full opacity and then just take them down a notch, you know, just so I can see where I'm going. Then I'm going to slide that down to about 50% just there. Neatening up all these little bits. I like this one. I like the pitch, it looks cool. So here I'm thinking about the background, right? So the yellow was just in, I used it initially just because sometimes if I'm drawing these kind of guys, what I'll do is I'll forget to colour in the shines on the glasses or the teeth, the sections that are meant to be white basically. So if I change the background to like a yellow or an orange or something that I can clearly see that's not in the composition, then I can just see where I am and kind of draw over those bits. And the yellow had just been left in since then. Doing his fur, his nice fur, little red touch in there just to bring it out. I'm so excited to get back to Leicester and see these on the actual cans. That's the cool thing since I've been away. It's like Jay's pub is on the way to my mum's house, kind of. So it's nice, I can pop in there, I can go see him, I can see the actual cans, hold them in my hands, get some photos of them if I need to. I'm gutted because I'm not a beer drinker. I know everyone's got that drink that they ruined for themselves when they were 16. Most people it's like vodka or something like that. For me it was stupidly beer. And the smell of beer just, I will literally vomit. Last time I drank beer I was on a stag do and we're doing like drinking games on the way up and I just could not keep it down. It's like my body just completely rejects it. So I'm a cider drinker if it's time to drink pints. But it's annoying because I want to taste all these beers, I want to enjoy them. I can't tell you how many times in my life people have bought me a beer as like a universal gesture of friendship. And I've had to be like, I'm so sorry, you've got 2 beers now. And I know you guys watching this are thinking, just drink the beer. You're missing out the part where it's not that I don't like beer, it's that my body just rejects it. I'm going to vomit, even like a Corona or something like that. Maybe that's it. Maybe I need like a gateway drug. Maybe I need like a light beer. I think I've tried these light beers over the years and it's the same thing. I'd rather just have a Coke. But I feel like such a meanie turning people down when they buy you a beer. It's such a nice gesture, right? And it's a universal gesture. Everywhere you go around the world, you can find a cheap beer. I'm that guy on the beach paying €5 for rum and cokes. It's not a good time. Yeah, here I'm thinking about the repeat pattern for the background. So I tried a filled in line with a little bit of a shadow on a clipping mask. That wasn't really working for me. It wasn't graphic enough. So here I was thinking, do I do like a full lime and just like a slice of it and kind of tessellate those? Maybe rotate them a little bit, but I still don't think that was the right treatment. So went back a couple of steps, start drawing them in real small in the squares here of the drawing guide. And I was thinking what I'm going to do, I'm just going to like tessellate these. I'm going to rotate them a little bit so they're a little bit messy. I didn't want it to be like perfectly tessellated. And then I thought if I just kind of copy paste them out, then I can double them up and just drop them into the background. I wanted them just to be small and graphic, you know, nothing too... That's what I was finding with the whole lime at that scale. It just kind of looked dumb. It took away from the illustration. It's supposed to be like a recessive element that sits back in the composition. And I think your eye was just a little bit too drawn to it. They're a bit too illustrated. Whereas this, I think, is a nicer touch. So you can see here, like I said, I'm just copy it out, maybe rotate them once or twice just to like change the angles a little bit. Copy them out again, make sure that nothing's overlapping. It was like a game of Tetris. And then, yeah, just dropping it into place, send it to the back. And then I want to copy it and I want to bring it to the front for Gary's tie as well. So I'm just going to take a little section here, make it much smaller, and then just erase the rest around it. I wonder if rubbing out is a phrase that as Brits just use, like to rub something out. Oh no, Americans do say rubbed, right? So I wonder if they call like erasing with a rubber, with an eraser, rubbing. Yeah, the first text I tried looked a bit Halloweenish, and it was just what came to me freehand, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to take a typeface in, illustrate around that, and then turn it into a little sticker. So that's what I've done instead. I think it's got a little bit of a softer touch that fits it a little more. This is interesting. When I first started working with these guys at Mill Hill, sometimes the copy would come across, copy would be perfect. I'd go to work on the illustration, and they'll come back at the 11th hour and say, look, we brewed the beer, and the percentage, the strength changed during the brew, so we need to change the artwork. Whereas that's not something that's happened with them for a little while. So I guess like obviously they were really new to it at that time. So it's pretty cool knowing that they're nailing it now and they're just knocking out 6% sour ale when it's time to. I bet this one would be nice. It's making my mouth water. Made with real lime peel and real lime. I bet that's delicious. If you like beer, if you're a beer drinker. I don't know if that's the right term. Is ale beer? Is beer a catch-all term for like lager, IPA, whatever? I don't really know. Some beer buffs, leave a comment, let me know. Here, just adding a little bit of shadow just to make it stand off a little bit. Wanted to add that lime peel kind of texture into the text. And I'm thinking here it's probably better if this is portrait and the 6% sits above the sour ale. So I'm just going to kind of make the sticker like that. Fill in those the counters just to make it a little bit more like a sticker, kind of following on from the title of the beer. Yeah, here this is my basic Mill Hill template. So the text on the left on this beer, you can see I think it says 5.4. Doesn't relate to the beer that I'm doing, but I'll just crop the illustration out and take it into Illustrator and redo the text when I submit the artwork. But it's nice, it gives me, I can see properly kind of how the whole thing's going to look. I like the black on the side. I think when I've done the final design, I've used black for that side panel with the small print on it. And it just made the illustration stand out and stand alone a little bit more. This here, I'm having a go at an idea for the mark for the Leicester Legends series. So that was part of the brief. They said they wanted something that, you know, was a nod to like this Leicester Legends series, kind of a recurring logo. I tried to do this scroll, but it was a bit too illustrative. I don't know. When I've dropped it in, it just took away from the illustration a little bit. I wasn't mad on it, so I've ended up changing it for that, just a plain text in this bit of a simpler scroll. Yeah, there he is. What's that? Margarita Gosé. Gosé? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Another one from Mill Hill.
All right, drawing finished. I think it must be about 7:30 or something like that. The sun's not long set. So back out into Pristina. I'm going to find some food. I had a good tip. So a couple of friends of mine, a couple of Kosovans in Leicester, I messaged them and asked about where I should be eating. And one of them said there's a spot that's called the Old House. It translates to the Old House. I don't know what it is in Albanian. But yes, I'm going to find that place and eat some food. I think they said try the traditional Albanian stuff, because I think the rest, she was like, it's going to be pretty average. But apparently the traditional stuff is really good. So I'm excited to try that. Got to find where it is, but in Pristina, nothing's far away. So it should be pretty good.
Okay, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this one. The Old House, that's what it translated to, I know that. Look at this place, how cute, with all their plants and the nice chairs and the nice lighting. Real nice restaurant. It was absolutely massive. Simple menu, but an authentic menu. Greedy Grub, I went for 2 mains once again. So I've done the beef cheeks and the chicken stuff with spinach. The beef cheeks were really soft and tender. They were really good. They broke up really nice. I think it said like slow cooked beef or something. I thought, yeah, I'm all over it. So here, bit of DJing, 2 plates. Chicken stuff with the spinach and like a creamy mushroom sauce. That was nice. And a little side salad that I was just picking at. One thing with the side salad I liked was the had spring onions with it, which I thought was a great touch. Just a little bit of like, I don't know, would it be spicy, I guess? Is radish spicy? Is white onion spicy? I don't know if that's I don't know if it is, if that's the right word you'd use for it. Tangy, whatever. Why do white people put cucumber in their water? Because it's too spicy. That's one of my favourite jokes. But yeah, getting this done. This was a good one, you know. I really enjoyed this munch. The salad was a touch. I'm doing the chicken, doing the potatoes, the bread, the rice, getting stuffed up. Any wonder I'm putting weight on out here. Yeah, £20, 85. Not too bad for like 2 mains, salad.
Alright, so nighttime has fallen in Pristina. I had my food, it was pretty good. Nice little spot. It's popping, there's so many bars here. So much nightlife by the looks of it. Looks like it's a good time. I'm boring, I'm going to take myself back to the crib and rub my belly. But yeah, just need to sign out. Going off. It's been a cool day. I've got another day here tomorrow exploring, and then I'm on my way Monday. I head off on my travels, but yeah, so signing off. Once again, thanks to anyone who locked on, anyone who found this video and watched, any of my people who tuned in. I feel like I picked the worst possible time to do this. Look, I've got a dustbin truck, clubs popping, it's loud, so hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. But yeah, like I said, guys, thanks for locking in. If you want to follow me, if you want to see more of the artwork, you can go to my Instagram. It's probably instagram.com/samgrubart. That's also the TikTok. Crazy. Yeah, it's also the TikTok. If you want to have a look at my portfolio site, some bigger projects, it's due a spruce up actually. I want to look at some of the clients I'm working on and try to put a few of their different projects together in one place. If you want to see that stuff, you can head to samgrub.co.uk. And the most important thing, I'm banging this drum in every video. And kind of my main idea with starting this YouTube thing was, I never thought I'm going to get 1 million videos. I can't be bothered to go down a clickbait route of being like, oh my God, what happened in Pristina? I just want somewhere to post my artwork and kind of keep it consistent and have a bit of a content drive. And ideally what I want to do is try and drum up new clients and find people who find these videos, they like the art style and they think, you know what, I'm going to commission him to draw something for me. So if you're watching this video and that sounds like you, if you have a craft beer company yourself and you want to reach out and get some artwork done, contact me at contactdrawingandexploring@gmail.com. Write to me there, we can have a good conversation, figure out what's going on, and hopefully get some artwork done and hopefully put that in a future episode. But yeah, contact drawingandexploring@gmail.com. That's the email address. But right now, heading back to the crib. I feel like watching a movie. I might watch a movie tonight. I've got some snacks. So yeah, I'm going to head back, kick my feet up and then figure out what I'm doing tomorrow. But like I said, thanks for watching, guys. I've been Sam Grubb. That's another episode of Drawing and Exploring. I'll see you next time. Ooh.